Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Neil Magny is responding to Jorge Masvidal calling him a bitch in a recent interview, multiple interviews. Jorge Masvidal has been calling Neil Magny out of his name, but to be fair, Jorge Masvidal does not like Neil Magny at all, and it's been hashtag Hoslap season for a while now. With that being said, Jorge Masvidal, a lot of you know, one of my favorite fighters, fighter, fucking the history. I've talked about Jorge Masvidal for a while now. But just a quick recap, this dude's legit. He's not an athlete that became a fighter. He's a fucking fighter that got to become a professional fighter, kind of living out his dream low-key, even though no one dreams of being a fighter. But this dude came up fighting anyways. Backyard Kimbo fights. Now he's getting paid, fighting some of the best fighters in the world, coming off of 2 losses, but I mean the best fighters in the world. Damian Maia, that was a split decision. A lot of people felt like Masvidal won. If you're a person that goes off for damage or whatever, you probably had to fight for Masvidal. But Masvidal is no stranger to losing split decisions that he probably won. That's happened a lot in his career. Another reason that I like Jorge Masvidal, all of that. So with that being said, I'm a huge fan of Jorge Masvidal. But this situation here rubs me the wrong way. Gotta be fair, gotta keep it 100. And it's just because the date. Jorge Masvidal is coming at Neil Magny's scout, and I'm not even the biggest Neil Magny fan. He's not on my favorite fighters list. He's a cool dude. I've got respect on his name. Very active, fighting the best guys in the world at this point. He earned his where he is in the UFC's welterweight rankings. He's beat a lot of guys when he was the underdog. Neil Magny, he's a legit welterweight fighter. I definitely respect Neil Magny, but he's not somebody I just, keep up on, like outside of the octagon, like type that, a person that I'm just a huge fan of. I don't know much about Neil Magny like that. I just don't gravitate toward him like that, like I would a Jorge Masvidal or a Darren Till or a lot of these other guys I'm huge fans of. So I would love to be riding with my boy Jorge Masvidal in this video. Like, hell yeah, Magny, take the fight. Fuck you time at, dude. Take it. 180. You need an opponent. You need a paycheck. Masvidal's down to fight you. Why not, man? Liverpool, it's a big card for welterweights. There's a lot of reasons, Neil Magny, I would love to see him versus Jorge Masvidal on this card. And so I understand where Jorge Masvidal's coming. My only thing is Jorge Masvidal wasn't supposed to be ready to fight until like what was it, July, August? This is May right now. So whenever Jorge Masvidal was originally approached about fighting potentially Darren Till, he just said UFC Liverpool was too soon. Hey, maybe the month after that, maybe the month after that, I just can't make it to UFC Liverpool. That date just doesn't work for me. But, I mean, it's Darren Till. There's no way he's fighting anywhere but fucking UFC Liverpool. That's probably half the reason they're going to Liverpool. Darren Till versus Wonderboy, main event, busting into Liverpool, huge fight. Darren Till for Liverpool, that's part. There's no way Darren Till's rescheduling from the main event of UFC Liverpool to accommodate Jorge Masvidal's schedule. So he just couldn't take the fight. Jorge Masvidal wasn't ready. Darren Till has to fight at this date. We can't see Masvidal versus Till. We get it. Nobody's ducking. Nobody's scared. It's just Jorge Masvidal can't make the date. Well, now Jorge Masvidal is riding on Neil Magny's ass about fighting at UFC Liverpool, calling him a bitch, telling, and he's not even talking about coming in at 170. It would be a different thing if my boy Jorge Masvidal was like, yo, I'm about to come, I'll take the fight on short notice, 170. Yo, it is what it is. I thought I couldn't make the date, now I can. And that is kind of what he's saying, but he's also saying at 180 pounds. So it's like, for one, he wasn't originally, wanting to fight at UFC Liverpool. And now he's gung-ho but he said it. I listened to an interview with Neil Magny yesterday on the Ariel Helwani show. He addressed this situation about why he's down to fight Neil Magny so much, and he wasn't necessarily a Darren Till or a Kamaru Usman, 2 of the most avoided fighters in the UFC. Now, with that being said, he said it's because he really doesn't like Neil Magny. He said there's 2 dudes that I don't care when it is. I don't, even if I'm not ready, I want to put my hands on these fucking dudes. And he talked about Michael Bisping and Neil Magny. He went on to talk about in the same interview, he accused Michael Bisping. He didn't accuse him, but he said he feels like, he believes Michael Bisping is a racist. I don't agree with that, from Neil Magny. And he said not even against, necessarily black people, because Ariel Helwani brought it up. Like, he's his co-host, Tyron Woodley, Daniel Cormier, a lot of those guys are Michael Bisping's co-host on Fox and stuff. He said, he might just be pretending up there. Jorge Masvidal said that, or whatever. He said maybe he's not even racist against blacks, but I do believe he's racist against Latinos, because he ripped up the Cuban flag. He spit in the corner of a Latino fighter. There was a fighter that Michael Bisping fought. His name escapes me, but Michael Bisping spit at his corner. So, the stuff he says about Yoel Romero, my country, the Cuban flag. So Jorge Masvidal said that Michael Bisping was a racist in this interview as well. But me, as someone who knows about the Michael Bisping podcast, I know one of Michael Bisping's, his co-hosts on his podcast. There's only two people. It's Michael Bisping and Luis J. Gomez. Luis J. Gomez is just about the Puerto Rican rattlesnake, bro. He's Latino, so Michael Bisping is definitely not racist. Jorge Masvidal he fucking doesn't like Michael Bisping at all, though. He really wants the Bisping fight. And one of the only other guys he named as much as he doesn't like his Bisping is Neil Magny. He said, those are two dudes I'll fight anytime, Bisping or Magny. He said both of those dudes are bitches, boom, boom. And so I don't, the same level of vitriol for Neil Magny. Neil Magny, hey, he ain't ripping up Cuban flags and shit. I don't know why you want to whoop his head as much as Bisping, but he did explain that a little bit. He said there was a time in the past Neil Magny lost an opponent. Jorge Masvidal said, I approached him like, hey, you need an opponent? I'm down to fight. And he said Neil Magny kind of snapped at him the wrong way or something, like, started getting disrespectful, and all he did was ask him if he needed an opponent. So he said for that, that's one of the reasons he doesn't like Neil Magny, and so he wants to fight Neil Magny now, UFC Liverpool, but Neil Magny ain't taking the fight. That's what he was saying. But Neil Magny's responding today. I had to get all of this out because this Neil Magny Jorge Masvidal situation, I really don't like this situation. But here's Neil Magny's response. He said, I'll gladly fight him at any weight, 170 up. Truth is, he's an unprofessional slob who was unable to make weight on 4 weeks' notice, and the UFC said no. So Neil Magny saying, I will fight him. Jorge Masvidal saying he won't fight me. And so now it's like his word versus his word. And it doesn't look great for my boy Jorge Masvidal, just because originally you didn't want to fight at UFC Liverpool, and whenever this fight was originally talked about, even with Neil Magny, it's at 180-pound catch weight, and as Neil Magny pointed out, you've got 4 weeks to get down to our weight class, and I would have thought Jorge Masvidal would have been able to make the weight, because Jorge Masvidal is a guy that used to fight at 155. I know it's been a while, he's put on a little weight or whatever, but 170 in 4 weeks, I mean, maybe it's that Cuban diet. We know Yoel Romero, I believe, might have had like 4 weeks to make weight versus Luke Rockhold. He wasn't able to get it done, but hey, I don't know what it is. But with that being said, though, this is an interesting situation going on. Neil Magny was originally scheduled to face Gunnar Nelson at UFC Liverpool. Gunnar Nelson had to pull out of the fight with an injury. Now Neil Magny still needs an opponent. As far as who's it going to be, it looks like Jorge Masvidal's down to take the fight at a catch weight. Looks like Neil Magny's now saying he would fight him at any weight and up. But the UFC is now saying no, according to Neil Magny. So this whole situation's really weird. I don't see anybody coming out looking good. Both of these dudes in this situation are kind of looking bad, right? Jorge Masvidal, he's looking to take a fight on short notice, but at a catch weight and on a card that he wasn't super hyped about fighting at when it came to Darren Till. And Neil Magny, he's kind of looking like he's not wanting to fight Jorge Masvidal, who's calling him out of his name, calling him a bitch, and saying he's turning down the fight. So now Neil Magny's coming out saying, I'm not turning down the fight. It's the UFC saying no. So I don't see anybody looking good in this situation, but hey, it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what you think about this in the comments. I'm out.
And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOG.